Ever walk down the supplement aisle and just feel lost? You are definitely not alone. Today, we're going to cut through all that noise. We're breaking down the science-backed blueprint for smart supplementation, and this comes straight from Dr. Andy Galpin's deep dive on the Huberman Lab podcast. We're going to focus on what actually moves the needle so you can stop wasting your time and your money.
So this quote right here, this is the core idea, the entire philosophy Dr. Galpin uses. It's all about the 80-20 rule. It's not about chasing the next magic pill. Nope. It's about having a filter to find that small handful of things that give you the lion's share of the benefits without breaking the bank. This is the framework for everything we're about to talk about.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start with the absolute most important foundation, hydration. Then we'll get into the undisputed king of all supplements, creatine. After that, we'll break down a super simple 3-part performance framework, unpack the real science of recovery, and then, at the end, we'll put it all together into an actionable protocol you can start using right away.
Okay, first things first. Before we even think about a single supplement, we have to talk about the most critical piece of the puzzle, water. I know, it sounds basic, right? But Dr. Galpin is crystal clear on this. If your hydration isn't dialed in, nothing else matters. Seriously. This is the bedrock of all performance, period. This right here shows what's called a hormetic curve. You can just think of it as the Goldilocks effect. We all know being dehydrated is bad, right? I mean, losing just 2% of your body weight in fluid can totally tank your power. But what's fascinating is that more isn't always better. You can see the curve drops off on the other side too. Overhydrating can also crush your performance. The sweet spot is right there in the middle.
Yeah, pushing hydration too far can lead to a really dangerous condition called hyponatremia. This isn't about sweating out too much salt, it's about diluting your body's sodium by drinking way too much plain water. And when that happens, the communication between your brain and your muscles gets all messed up. Now here's the truly scary part. The symptoms, like brain fog and confusion, look a lot like dehydration. So people think, oh, I need more water, and they make the problem even worse.
Okay, so how much should you actually be drinking? Dr. Galpin gives us a fantastic, super simple rule of thumb to start with. Just take your body weight in pounds and divide it by 2. That's your baseline number of ounces to aim for each day. So if you weigh 180 pounds, you're shooting for around 90 ounces of fluid a day. And remember, that's just your baseline. It doesn't even count what you lose during exercise. And now for a super practical tip for during your workout. Dr. Galpin has this simple formula. Take your body weight in pounds, divide it by 30. That number is how many ounces of fluid you should sip, and I'm emphasizing sip, not chug, every 15 to 20 minutes. Sipping is key for absorption and to make sure your stomach doesn't get upset. It's such a simple, game-changing habit.
All right, with our hydration locked in, we can move up the pyramid to what Dr. Galpin calls the undisputed king of supplements. It's not new, it's not flashy, but it is backed by literally decades of research for being incredibly effective and safe. I'm talking about creatine monohydrate. And the benefits? They go way beyond just the gym. While it's an absolute powerhouse for boosting strength and power, the science is showing it supports your entire body. For your brain, it helps fuel things like focus and planning. Physically, it might even help with bone density, and it speeds up muscle recovery. It really is a full-body supplement.
And Dr. Huberman himself put it perfectly with this quote. Your brain, just like your muscles, is a massive energy hog. Creatine gives it a super fast fuel source that's crucial for any high-demand mental task. So it's not just powering muscle contractions, it's fueling the brain cells in your prefrontal cortex, which is what you use for sharp focus and making good decisions.
So how do you take it? It's simple. Forget all that old-school complicated loading phase stuff that just gives you stomach problems. The science is really clear. A consistent dose of 3 to 5 grams of creatine monohydrate every single day is all you need. The key word there is consistency. This isn't like caffeine, you don't feel it kick in. It works by slowly building up in your tissues over weeks. Just take it daily, and it'll do its job.
Okay, so our foundation is set, hydration is dialed in, and we're taking our daily creatine. Now let's talk about that pre-workout window. To cut through all the clutter and junk in most pre-workout formulas, Dr. Galpin uses a really smart 3-part framework. The idea is to just pick one effective thing from 3 specific categories.
Here's how it works. First, you need fuel, a direct energy source. And guess what? Our daily creatine already has us covered there. Second, you pick a stimulant to boost your alertness and just make hard work feel a little easier. Caffeine is the classic, but something like beetroot juice, which helps blood flow, is another great option. And third, a fatigue blocker.
This is what helps you fight that muscle burn, letting you push out those extra reps. Beta-alanine is the go-to here. So one from each category, and you've got a super targeted, effective pre-workout stack without any of the junk.
So the real progress from your workout, it happens during recovery. But there's a huge misunderstanding here. Recovery is not about getting rid of inflammation. According to Dr. Galpin, that soreness, that inflammation, is actually a crucial signal that tells your body, hey, time to repair and get stronger. So our goal isn't to silence the signal, but to support the rebuilding process that comes after.
Recovery basically happens in 3 stages. First up, right after the workout, is inflammation. This is the signaling phase. That means you want to avoid things like high-dose pain relievers or long ice baths that can actually blunt that signal to adapt. Next is proliferation, which is like the cleanup phase, where your body clears out damaged cells. Something like glutamine can help here. And finally, you have remodeling. This can last for weeks. This is the actual rebuilding, and it's fueled by good old-fashioned nutrition, getting enough protein and carbs.
All right, let's bust a classic gym myth, the anabolic window. Look, it's true your body is more sensitive to nutrients after you exercise, but this idea that you have to slam a protein shake within 30 minutes or you'll lose all your gains is just not quite right. For muscle growth, what really matters most is your total protein intake over the entire day. The timing actually matters more for carbs, especially if you train every day and you need to restock those muscle fuel stores for your next session.
All right, we have covered a ton of ground, from hydration and creatine to performance and recovery. So now, let's pull all these pieces together into one single practical protocol. Here it is, your 4-step blueprint. Step 1, and this is totally non-negotiable, you have to master the fundamentals. That means sleep, a good whole food diet, and dialing in your hydration with those formulas we talked about. Step 2, build your daily foundation with 3 to 5 grams of creatine monohydrate. Step 3, before you train, pick one supplement from each of those performance trio categories. And finally, Step 4, after your workout, focus on refueling with high-quality protein and carbs to support that all-important remodeling phase.
So as we wrap this up, the real takeaway here is a total mindset shift. Supplements aren't magic. They're tools. They're meant to support a solid foundation of sleep, nutrition, and hard work. The goal isn't to find more and more stuff to take. The real question you should be asking yourself is this: once I have all the basics totally locked in, what is the minimum effective dose I need to help me reach my goals?